Okay. 11 Days of Remembrance, Day 7. Chapter 8. To the Lancasters. With his training completed and another 2 weeks of leave behind him, Larry was posted to 1564 Westling Squadron in September of 1943. It was at Wigsley where he was finally introduced to the aircraft that would carry him on his journey to Top Gunner Ace, designed and developed in England by Avro Chief Aircraft Designer Roy Chadwick. Avro Lancaster would prove to be one of the most renowned military aircraft of all time. Stemming from the design of the earlier Avro aircraft design and gesture, the Lancaster was equipped with four Rolls-Royce Marlin engines, producing a total of 7,000 pounds of horsepower. It was only RCF aircraft at the time capable of carrying the 12,000-pound Tally Boy and 22,000-pound Grand Slam bombs. With a bomb bay door that stretched over 30 feet, the Lancaster had the ability to transport large precision weapons that no other aircraft could. Pilots prepared her for maneuver, although struggling at low speeds. When full power was applied, Lancaster could be flown like a fighter. Even at gross weight, the aircraft responded well to the pilot's control inputs. Standing out the hangar door, days later, Larry was watching one of the Lancaster's return from a mission when aircraft came to a stop. Next to him, Larry watched as the rear gunner attempted to exit the turret. The man seemed to be having some trouble, so Larry approached him to offer some assistance. Seeing that the man had his parachute strapped wrong around one of the braces, the turret, Larry was just about to give him some friendly advice when the recognized who was occupying the seat. It was the sergeant from Magjon, Quebec, who had tried to get him in trouble with the commanding officer the year before for declaration of duty. Reaching into the turret, Larry unstrapped the man's parachute. I see you need some help exiting an aircraft, sir. Thinking it was his best interest to get away from the guy as soon as possible, Larry stuck around just enough to see the man's face from a ballot soon of scarlet. 2 weeks later, the sergeant and another member of the crew was shot down over Germany. None survived. Chapter 9. The first two trips across the Channel. December 16th, 1940 started over just like any other day, but mid-morning when Larry named the bottle of order the very first time changed the bomber command was raining over Berlin, and due to extreme shortages in the crew and equipment, most extravagant aircrew were extended to the seven members of the Smith airline crew. All Air Force training led over him asked him before ascending Larry Simple he would never use it on a civilian, even a German one, and if the Nazis captured him and found him, he was a dead man. So rather than carry it on him at all times, he only ordered to do it. Larry left the stowaway on the aircraft when he climbed into the rear turret, and I closed the doors behind him. A moment after transfer descended upon him, it was transferred over to the Godin's crew along with 483 other Lancasters. 15 Mosquitoes took off from the flight plan for direct overhaul in Berlin, Denmark. Godin overhead. He knew what it was and yelled, "Night fighter, 9 o'clock starboard, side dive." Kevin and overnight. Back over gun, Captain Gibbons. Control harness over the burn gunners. Note the advice mention each gun. For some sort of reasoning, there was nothing to see but a gray void, and returned to his seat, pulled him across his eyes. We go down. Suddenly received formation done. Gibbons, I see you our, our over our airfield, he replied, contact listening to aerodrome. The last of the pilots were relying on messages, and already obvious poor visibility over front began to slide down. Over the fog, 25 Lancaster crews over bad weather over England as well. 229 men lost their lives, 14 were taken prisoner, and 7 entered in Sweden. Luckily, Larry and the rest of the divided Smith crew scattered along the mission. Lancaster bomber crews soon realized that they could sector over German fighters each time Holland or France. There were over 200 and Paka Paka, the Luftwaffe pilots would call out Hydro over the radio, which they had shot down an enemy aircraft. The night fighters would call out Puka Puka, which they had achieved a kill. That would alert other pilots to watch for a flamer. It was around the kill. The precision allowed Germans to carry many all kills. Some Luftwaffe pilots shot down more than 300 Allied aircraft. The Germans had a fly till you die policy, which meant no rationing home for training duty and no limit on missions or hours. The Germans were far from the Germans speed. The Erwin, one target in the Second World War, Paris defeated 19 major raids over Berlin between August 1943 to March 1944. More than 10,000 aircraft sorties dropped over 30,000 tons of bombs over Berlin, and Berlin wasn't destroyed, and the RAF lost 600 aircraft along with their crews. Thus does it end. If you see uh, a veteran and they look sad, just say hi, and they just are looking for a friend, just say hi, ask about how their day is going, and ask about how they are doing and how they are, and and I thank the veterans in World War One, World War Two for what they've done, so I could make these videos, so I could see my friends, live in peace. I can go to bed, not have to worry about any bombers flying over my head and destroying my neighborhood. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that I can see my friends and I could fight for human rights. Because of what they did in World War II. I'm thankful to my great grandfather who went over and fought World War One, and I thank my great uncle Ted. He defended Halifax Harbor against the German U-boats, and I thank my cousin who died in the Battle of Britain, so I could be free, and so I could speak English and learn whatever language I want, and I could do what I want to do, and I'm thankful for that. And sorry I lost my poppy. I tried looking for it. I keep losing them. I'll make sure to have a poppy in my next video. If not, you'll know why. But thank you to those who fought for me to be free. This is the end of day 7 of 11 Days of Remembrance.